Hello everyone, and very warm welcome. Good morning, good afternoon to everyone. My name is Harpreet, and I will be talking to you about the location intelligence and business intelligence and how it can really help you to drive the sales altogether. I hope in the COVID world, everybody here is doing well and they are safe and sound. Let's quickly check on the agenda today. So we'll touch upon what is data-driven sales and what is location intelligence altogether. We'll touch upon maps and how we are using maps already. We will talk about few use cases, the benefits of using location intelligence and business intelligence together. We'll end with our offer and the Q&A session altogether. All right. The sales environment is in a state of change. Now, even if you consider COVID-19 as a situation, the team is progressively working to really change the way they're operating. And it is important for the companies to adapt and keep up with the competition. With this pressure to perform, the power of data-driven sales and analytics can no longer be ignored. The decisions made on guesswork and intuitions or whim won't cut anymore. Companies are now leveraging big data to make better decisions and more informed decisions. The term data-driven is a buzzing around these days, but it's often an indicator of forward thinking and an innovative company. The data-driven sales help us to really leverage the data to take informed decisions making and enabling productivity. It helps us to improve the lead generation efforts using geospatial data and also enable identified patterns. We can spot the areas of improvement within the company's sales strategy, and we can also analyze the conversion rates, the sales velocity by segmenting industry, company size, product or deal size altogether. Now touching upon location intelligence. So what is location intelligence and how we are really solving the problems of the future? Location intelligence uses spatial information to empower people understanding of insights, decision making, and prediction. It has application everywhere. It can be from opening a retail site or a site selection or even solving traffic bottlenecks. Or it can be even for maintaining or repairing a vital infrastructure as well. In more simpler terms, location intelligence uses the spatial information and adding context around it. Location insights are used in many ways, and they can create safer and more efficient supply chains. 2/3 of the business executives are already using location intelligence to have a competitive edge altogether. 97% of the companies believe that location intelligence is crucial to their success, and 53% plan to invest in location intelligence technologies. Location intelligence, again, it is achieved via the visualization and analysis of the geospatial data altogether. It will help us in discovering the value of location technology, putting the AI and location intelligence at work, and business insights are connected to the question of where. Now, moving on to maps, I must say that in the year of 2020, you have seen one of the such maps of COVID-19, which is just helping us to really ascertain how many cases are there around the world, how many cases how many people were affected, how many people were recovered, how many people really just lost their lives. So the maps is helping us to really just give a information in context of the other countries around the world in this particular piece. Maps have also been used not only to really find locations. The people are really putting their businesses, their locations, whatever is available on a map so that people can really find them. Now, you use your Google Maps or your favorite map locations to really find locations, find directions. Now, you use it to really go to your nearest, to your favorite coffee shop, or even for your to find the new prospect address as well. Maps are not only limited for outside, but they're also available for indoor maps as well. Here's an example where you can use the indoor maps to go around the Australian Museum altogether and identify where which place is available. Instead of, you also find maps on your office, like that of a evacuation map. These maps are there on the walls. Now imagine an era where these we were not really having these digital maps. We were having only physical maps altogether. And the technology have really evolved and really made the GPS and technology available at the footsteps. The maps, if you really see, you were using every day in and out whenever you step out of your house. But if you will also realize that you're also using map in your office as well. You use a different ERP and CRM systems which store different customer locations, which store different warehouse locations, which store different retail store locations, which store different distributor locations, and how to really navigate to really distribute different items. They use different office addresses as well. Now, this data, location data, which is sitting in the complex ERP and CRM system, which is helping you to synthesize process to move data from one place to the other, one department to the other, is already taken care by the ERP or CRM systems. But the geospatial data is always left untouched. The geospatial data is always sitting there as a static data itself. It is not ever looked up altogether. So that's where our Microsoft Dynamics CRM and ERP solutions, and along with location intelligence, comes into play, which helps you to really bridge that particular gap. Location intelligence, or Hitachi Location Intelligence, is a solution which will allow you to use those spatial data sitting in your Dynamics 365 ERP and CRM systems, and which will help you to really make meaningful data. It will drive the data-driven sales and also bring the location intelligence in context. As a system, it is easy to set up. It will be familiar user experience, and you can use it anytime, anywhere. It's a flexible and extensible platform. It will provide you insight and analytics, which will really keep you ahead of the game. In my next slide, I will introduce Joel. So Joel is a sales enterprise of ABC, a sales executive of ABC Enterprise. He works in a industry who sells printers, and he usually works on a business-to-business model, B2B model altogether. If you look at his problems, his focus is only limited to his quarterly targets. He always really thinks that, is he on track to really meet his targets? You don't always have time to really prep for the customer meetings because he's always in a rush. He's unable to manage his time. He spends less time with the customers and he spends more time on the road to really just reach to the destination. His field reports are at times delayed, and he cannot really make his manager happy. And his making an expense claim is also a tedious task. So let's try to see how he can really do some of these things a little differently. So if you imagine a sales manager defines a different financial KPI targets. Now these targets can be, let's say they need to really achieve $5 million. Now to really achieve that $5 million target, they need to really have 10 new customers, and which will in turn, you can imagine, about 40 new opportunities, and which will lead to about 120 leads altogether. If you divide it over an year, so I need at least 10 leads per month. So if you really see that financial target needs to be really broken down into a activity-based targets altogether. So that's what is the first step is done. The goals which are financial is now broken down into activity-based goals altogether in the system. You have a kind of a smart assistant to really take care of those particular goals and really keep you in sight that yes, are you able to meet those goals or not? Second, you have compliance. Now this compliance helps you to really make you sure that yes, you are able to meet those goals or not. The digital assistant or reminder comes again to really prompt you when you have to, when a meeting is due or a proposal is due or a meeting, emails are pending for a response, those kind of things. The mobile applications helps you give reminders and also navigate using your favorite map application altogether. Using customer insights, you get customer news updates coming from LinkedIn. You also get customer specific information to prep for your meetings. Now these can be like that of the last order which the customer has placed, the pending invoices, the aging, all that kind of information. We go one step ahead. We create automatic field report creation using geofencing. That allows, so you don't, technology does the work for you where you spend more time selling. Once the meeting is over, the system is smart enough for to really interact with you on what happened, like a real manager or assistant, and the assistant will record all the information interactively. The system will also understand all the different future meetings or tasks which needs to be performed, and those will be created in the system for you in the backend, so that you can really look them up once you're back at your desk. The system is again efficient, which is helping you to really record the different distance traveled during the day using your mobile phone, and it will send that particular information back in the system. The system will again, you can attach the different bills which are required. You can do it from your phone as well, and then submit it for your manager's approval. So we are not doing things different, but we are doing a little bit of things differently. I will really touch upon some of the use cases and how we can really touch upon this. The goals which amplify. So here in this particular case, we have a kind of a scenario where we are mentioning increase year-on-year revenue by 10%. So that is a goal, a financial goal which is created in the system. But these goals will include 3 sub-activity goals, which can be complete 5 product demos every 15 days, can generate 1 new opportunity every week, submit 1 proposal every week. So for these kind of activity-based goals can be now also tracked and created in the system, and which can be reported also by the system as well. In this particular slide, you see a kind of a assistant which gives you what is the recent meeting which was due, which you really concluded. It will really prompt you to really take notes as well, and it will also help you to really create a kind of a calendar based on which will be traffic optimized. So once you really create your particular goals, you start really setting up your meetings, the system will really say, okay, Southridge is about 20 minutes drive from or 10 minutes drive from the first location. So you cannot really schedule a meeting at 3 p.m. It will give those notifications so that you can schedule the next meeting with the particular break altogether. The system will also give you prompts for the meetings or the product demos which needs to be scheduled, proposals which are due this week, when you qualify or create new opportunities, when you reminder for an upcoming meeting, alerting when opportunity is nearing a closing date, or identifying any email messages which will be waiting for a reply. Now, these are all to really meet your weekly, monthly, and quarterly goals. These are just some of the assistant prompts. These can be customized based on the goals which you want to really set for the team, and it will be also set up for the assistant to also prompt. Now going on, so my day is set. Now I'm starting my day. Joel sees his phone and he gets a reminder that your next meeting is with Mr. Ram of Galaxy Industries, and he just can click on navigate, and it will also telling you on the bottom that with the current traffic conditions, you can reach the location at 10:45. So that's what this system says. So you can really just start to navigate, and then the navigate app will start. So the information to keep you ahead, the sales and customer insights will help you, the sales rep, to really prep on the go. They always don't have the time to really look up the website for what was latest on the news, what was the latest order that they had. That's where the systems really come into play, where they really grab all the information from LinkedIn Sales Navigator or the different feeds which are available. We can integrate it with a different financial system, which will tell when was the last order was placed from the customer, when was the last two invoices, and which is 45 days, which is total amounting to 33,000 US dollars. So the assistant is smart, and which makes the salesperson smarter. It helps you to really get the different insights, orders, outstandings. You can really have different kind of information which can be prompted to the salesperson, and the system will really take care of it. Going on, enabling more time selling. The moment the Joel reaches the meeting location, which has been defined in the system, and the system tracks that you're in the same location at this point of time, the system creates a field report using the geofencing as a technology. That's where the technology comes into action. It completes a check-in for the sales executive and updates the status as in progress. So in that way, there is no more excuses that I didn't create a field report. The field report is automatically created now. So what we are actually doing is we are generating different data which will help you to drive the data-driven sales together. And that is done using technology. Now, what is a field report which is empty? It does not really make sense. So the interactive field reports comes into play, which takes from the scribble part to CRM. The system can really start prompting. How was your meeting? The response can be meeting went well. Can you rate the meeting on a scale of 1 to 5? 5. Or what did you discuss? The new order from the government and the new requirements on printers. Is there any action which needs to be captured? Set up next meeting for upcoming Wednesday 3 p.m. and set a task for me to send out product details by this Friday. Okay, meeting is scheduled and the task is assigned. So that's how simple it is. So all the action items, all the next meetings, everything is recorded in the system and assigned to the sales rep for them to really follow. And again, the assistant will come in and give reminders wherever there is a need. To measuring the success, keeping targets in sight, we have using Power BI as a platform where you can really pull up all these different financial goals, and you can really see how does it really scale up. Did I meet the goal in the last week, last month? So I don't need to really go up to my manager to really see that information. That is available. It's creating transparency for the people to really take control and start driving this information further. Efficient expense claim management. So this has been always a kind of a trouble for the sales team altogether. So what the system does is it records all the distance traveled in the day. The sales team person can really mark the personal travels. They can select the mode of travel in which they really commuted. They can attach the receipt and submit the same for approval. Now, this system allows the manager to be also confident, yes, that the data which they're submitting is accurate. The claims or the data is already entered into the system. They have to just attach the receipts, which can be done using the phone app also, and then finally submit it for approval. So at the end, if you see Joel, after using the system, he gets to know the goals, which are now activity driven. The digital assistant helps him to keep track of his goals. The CRM system is smart and makes him smarter. And he can rely on the system to achieve his targets. The field reports are automatically created and updated based on his inputs. And the system computes the expense claim as per the policy. So that is a kind of a complete shift from where it was earlier. Moving on, I have Rafal, who is the manager of Joel. And he's also, he has his own troubles. So let's try to have a look at that. He spends too much time analyzing the data, and at times he struggles. The data is not there in the system. So what we are first doing from the sales executive point of view is making sure the data is getting created and stored in the system so that it can be analyzed. he wants to really think that is the territory in which Joel is working right or wrong. He always has a question mark. His field reports, he always struggles to really get them. And is there a better way to really manage his expenses? He always gets different paper-based expenses with different receipts and all. And he always wants his team to succeed, but he always struggles how he can really help. Let's have a look at this. Now, we have defined these particular KPIs for this sales executive. These goals and activities can be defined by the salesperson, approved by the manager, or the manager themselves can really create those goals and approve them and assign them to the different executive. You can create certain just unique goals for different individuals, or you can create the common goals for the entire team as well. So all can be done using the system. The system is smart enough to really manage it. Second, comes the compliance. The manager wants to keep seeing that is the team managing the goals or not. The assistant is prompting the manager as well as the executive that did he meet the goal or did he didn't meet the goal. In terms of reviewing and approving the reports, that's his major job, and he can rely on the field report which is now created on the system. He can review and approve the expense claims also in the system, conduct one-on-one with the sales executive to really coach them and to really bring the best out of the sales team together. They can do a data-driven sales altogether. They can create a sales strategy, and they can really start to really create different opportunities by overlaying one data set on the other on a map. Here are a few use cases. So once with the power comes responsibility. So let's say if the goal is created by the executive, now it needs to be approved by the manager. We have the approval process to approve, decline, so that we can really manage it further. The digital personal assistant in this particular case is just responding that Joel has achieved the goal for the last week. He won an opportunity worth $50,000. So those reminders, those assistant is not only just tracking the goals, but also tracking the different opportunities which are being created. So in that way, those reminders, the assistant is smart enough to really give the information to the manager and as well as the executive, so that they can keep the goals in sight. You can analyze the team performance. The previous report which you say was dedicated or was created for an individual. When they log in, they can really see their own report. But as a manager can really see the complete report for the goal compliance altogether. They can analyze the team performance. They can really check if they really met the activity goal, financial goal, or they met the both or not. So this can be for an individual team or for a team member as well. Efficient claim management. So the sales manager, as they're really reviewing the data submitted by the sales team, they can actually see and correlate the different expense against the field reports also. So in that way, that they can trust the data which is really coming into the system, which is generated in the system. It is not just any and every data which different salesperson struggles to really manage. In the same way, they can review the field reports. The reports which were created earlier by the sales executive on the phone can be now seen by the manager in the system. The AI, the artificial intelligence, and the analytics can really start working on the data. How much time did they really spend against that particular appointment? How much? What was the really discussion? What was the action items? What was the next meeting which is scheduled? So they can really start creating a complete pipeline and they can manage the complete funnel management so that they can be a better sales manager going forward. The next piece is about the sales strategy. Now, we always, as a salesperson, we really see that how many leads are converted, how many opportunities which are won. But if you really see, those are the numbers of, I can say, of 1997. But now, we are in the year 2020. We need to really start looking at the data-driven sales. We have to really start seeing what is the sales velocity report, what is the customer churn rate, what is the customer lifetime value, what is the length of the sales cycle, what is the customer acquisition cost. So all these reports, and these are just some of the sample reports which I'm talking about. There can be many more which would be really required, which can be created, which will help the sales manager to have a one-on-one with the sales rep and really coach the complete sales team together. If you really see, I'll take the sales velocity report in this example. So the more quickly you can convert the leads into a paying customer, the more successful your business is. The time is money, and after all, yet the sales metric, they reveal that most about the time and money and sales velocity is commonly overlooked. So the sales velocity is a measurement of how fast you're really making this money. So this is just one example which I'm really showcasing here. We have many more reports in the showcase, and we can create more reports as required by the business. The other example which I want to really explain here is that imagine that you're running a kind of a plywood manufacturing company altogether, and you sell plywood using your retailers. The purple icons on this particular map denotes the different plywood retailers which are there in this particular city. Now you can now import the upcoming projects of a leading construction company in the CRM system and overlay them on the same data set. The visual representation allows you to really identify the gaps where you don't have retailers to really cover the different people who would be buying those properties and who will require different plywood, which they will require to really do their interiors altogether. They can find the areas that, yeah, these are the areas which are the blind spots. They can start using that particular area to really identify more dealers to really expand their particular reach. This is just one example. You can have multiple data sets imported in the system, and then you can really visualize the data in the map. So that's where we are using the spatial data, using it in the context and really making informed decision making for your business growth altogether. Let's look at Rafael again, and he is now happy where he's able to manage his team better. He spends very less time approving expenses. His field reports from his team are on time. He can really do a better territory designing, and he have actionable reports so that he can take the decision to the next level. I have another use case. This is specifically for a B2C company altogether. Now imagine that you are running different retail stores altogether. Now these retail stores are in different parts of the city, and based on different parameters, you can grade the performance as green, amber, or red. Now I can select a period. In this case, it is last month, and I can select the performance as red, and I can click on search. The moment I do that, I see there are 3 stores which didn't really perform as per the criteria altogether. I can schedule these particular stores on the fly on my map. I can on the click of a button, and which will be traffic optimized altogether. I can again use my own application, which will help me to really navigate, and it will also create a kind of audit report or an audit check from the phone itself. I can really have different sections created and different items which needs to be evaluated, and based on that, I can go there, I can put a check mark and then click on submit. In a nutshell, if I really want to talk about location intelligence for Dynamics 365, it helps your team to be much more productive. You can use technology to enable them to be productive and get accurate field data coming into the CRM system. Second, you will be proactive. You will get the information for your better account management and stay ahead of your competition. And third is your spatial insights, which is helping you to get the context of the spatial data and for better informed decision and strategy making. With that, I will hand over to Bahhadir, who will really touch upon our Hitachi solutions and what we are. Bahasan, over to you.
Well, good afternoon, everyone, and good morning to some of the participants, I guess. Thanks, Harpreet, for the presentation. So in this part, I will be just touching upon a little bit, not the solution itself, but who we are. So we are Hitachi Solutions, and we are the IT subsidiary of the Hitachi Group, which has more than 330,000 employees and active globally. We are headquartered in Japan, but we are active in more than 15 countries and expanding. And these countries are covering Southeast Asia, well, Singapore, Thailand, Philippines, Australia, etc., and India and Middle East. Can you go to the next slide, please? We also have a very strong and global footprint in Dynamics 365 market, and we are one of the leading partners of Microsoft, again, especially in Southeast Asia, India, and Middle East. Next slide, please. And we also one of the market leaders in location technologies in Japan. We have a very strong track record in utilities, agriculture, retail, real estate, finance, manufacturing, well, you name it. And we have started expanding our business, location business, into overseas markets. But it's my responsibility, and we are working with our Southeast Asia and India counterparts to expand this business into out of Japan. And we already have some track records in reference cases in India, Australia, Vietnam, and some other Southeast Asia countries. So next slide, please. That brings us to the uniqueness of us, which is we are capable of provide both Dynamics 365 ERP and CRM solutions, and integrate that with our location intelligence technologies. So this kind of makes us one of the unique companies that can provide the data-driven sales using business and location intelligence, I guess. And the last slide, please. So we feel that this can be a very new approach for most of the companies that are already using CRM, or that are planning to use CRM or implement CRM in their business flows. And because of that, and this can be a quite challenging experience also. So because of that, we are inviting all the participants today to join us in a POC to experience this new approach for the sales processes, and get a feel of what we are offering, how this can leverage your own business, and at the end of the day, you can see how your data platform, or how the data that you already accumulated, can be leveraged for better processes. And after this POC, if you feel this new technology fits to your needs, we can actually embark onto a real application with the clients. So, thank you for all listening.
Thank you everyone for your time today, and thank you for joining this particular webinar.